Turns out Warner Brothers is allergic to money. We won't be getting a Batman movie for quite some time. Hey everyone, this is Digital Charcuterie. Thanks for stopping by. If you're looking forward to the Batman Part 2, the Batman, the Brave and the Bold, the DCU and the Reeves, hit that subscribe button. Talk about it all the time right here on this channel. I'm looking forward to the Batman Part 2, which reportedly is no longer called the Batman Part 2. If it was ever officially called that to begin with, I don't know. But now they're saying it's called something completely different, and it has been delayed an entire year from October 2026 to October 27. So we went from October 2025 to October 2026 to October 2027, which is very odd in a lot of ways. But what's even odder is Batman the Brave and the Bold. Andy Muschietti was talking earlier today, and he was saying that that movie is not happening anytime soon. He's going to do a smaller movie before he gets to that movie. So there is something going on with Batman at Warner Brothers. Let's talk a little bit about it. Part of what we're hearing is, yes, the title is no longer called The Batman Part 2, as I alluded to just a little while ago. Apparently, no one knows what it's called. It's being referred to as like the unnamed, untitled Batman film or something to that effect, which is fine. I personally, whatever you call it, that's great. It's going to be the next Batman movie for me going forward, and I'm going to be interested in it, whatever you end up calling it. Even if you call it Batman and Robin, again, I'll be interested. But the other thing, too, though, is it's delayed apparently. Apparently now the shoot is going to happen in the summer, but it's very VFX heavy. The reporters are saying that it is going to be visual effects heavy, which doesn't sound like it jives with the first Batman. Though that movie was VFX heavy, though very subtle VFX. So what does that mean? I think, Mr. Freeze obviously comes to mind and things like that. But also the DCU and James Gunn's DCU, and are they going to try to lean a little bit more into the fantastical elements of Batman's lore and rogue gallery and Gotham and whatnot? I don't think they are. I think Matt Reeves has been very clear that this is going to be grounded. So I would look to a villain like Mr. Freeze, someone who would, need and have to utilize more visual effects to get across what this character can do and how they can do it in a realistic environment. So that's one of the reasons for the delay, apparently, is that it's very VFX heavy, which shocked me when I read it. But I don't know if it's a negative or not. I think, as long as it's used to tell the story, I don't see anything wrong with that. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of what goes on at the DC studios, and James Gunn obviously took over 2-3 years ago, whatever it's been now, and he seemed to have a plan. That plan is shifting and changing all the time. Obviously, Supergirl, he said, was never meant to be the second movie in the DCU, but of course, the script came in, was perfect. They found a perfect director for it, and that's happening. Clayface wasn't even announced in the DCU, and we're getting that movie in September of 2026, September 11th of 2026, which was going to be 1 month before the release of the Batman Part 2. James Gunn came out and said it won't matter if these two movies release within a month from each other or less than a month from each other, because one's DCU and one is Reeves, and they're not going to conflict. And now all of a sudden they're conflicting because they've moved Batman far away. Now, several insiders have stated that there is something personal to do with Matt Reeves, possibly Matt Reeves' family. No one quite knows. No one said anything. I mean, I'm sure they know, but no one has said anything publicly to it. So there could be a reason there for why the delay is something personal with Matt Reeves, the reason for the delay. So, I'm not going to come on here and just be like, Matt Reeves is taking his time and he needs to change. If there's something personal going on, you got to deal with it in how you can and whatnot. It just blows my mind that this movie has been delayed for so long. Now, it's going to be 5.5 years since the first Batman movie, when we get this movie, which I know I've heard people compare it to the first Batman movie. Took 5 years. It was announced in 2017 and we got in 2022. But we had a pandemic right in the middle of that, which kind of screwed that one around just a little bit. They announced that they were going to do a sequel, I think, while the first one was still in theaters. Like, they knew for a very long time that we were going to get a sequel to the Batman. So the fact that the script isn't ready yet is very telling. Like, because Matt Reeves said in September that the script was done and he submitted the script, and now James Gunn is saying the script isn't quite there yet. They're not very happy with it. Matt Reeves wants to do the best he could do. So and then he said so once the script is submitted, there's 2 years of pre-production and filming and post-production. It's going to take 2 years to go do those 3 things. But shooting is still scheduled to be in the summer of 2025. And it doesn't quite, there's something missing here, not making sense. Now, if it is something personal with Matt Reeves, we've got to respect that and move on from that, and not, I guess, dwell on what I'm dwelling on right now, because you're not going to be able to change that. But there's other things at play here, like, wanting to do your DCU and wanting to really push your Batman ahead, and you want Pattinson in your Batman, maybe you start to do things that create a little bit of tension for Matt Reeves within the DC universe. And again, I've always brought up this dynamic duo movie that they're making, that they're producing together, Gunn and Reeves, that is producing. And I've kind of brought this up several times. They're like, well, they're going to work together. They have a good working relationship, but maybe that's starting to be strained now. Maybe the Batman 2 is causing a lot of issues for James Gunn because he wants to get his universe up and running, and he needs a Batman. But also you have David Zaslav over at Warner Brothers, who came out and said before he hired James Gunn, he said, we're not going to have 7 Batman on the screen. Does that mean literally 7, or does that just mean multiple, one, or like more than one? Does he only want one Batman on the screen? And if that's the case, does the Brave and the Bold wait until Matt Reeves has done his trilogy? Which, if that's the case, they're going to be waiting a long-ass time to get there. However, the other thing, too, is we might be getting a Teen Titans movie in the DCU. So Batman's going to exist in the DCU. We're not just going to see his escapades until he's older with Damian Wayne. So maybe they'll work it around there. Maybe the other play is they kind of let Matt Reeves do whatever the hell he wants with whatever time he wants to do it with, and you incorporate Pattinson into the DCU and you keep it grounded because James Gunn said, the DCU was going to have individual stories and individual directors telling the stories that they wanted to tell, and they weren't going to be beholden to one giant arc at all. It was going to be each individual thing. So you could make, and I don't really agree with this, but you could make, not that I don't agree with it, I don't think it's going to happen, but you could make the Reeveverse, the Gotham City, and the DCU, and just have it separate and tell all these separate stories that way. So it's very confusing what's going on here, but we got to wait 2 more years. 2+ years to get to the Batman Part 2. Pattinson will be like 40. Like he jokingly said, I'll be retired by the time it's all done, and now it's seemingly possible that he will be retired by the time this is all come to an end, because it's just taking an extremely long amount of time. And the Batman 2 is supposed to be shooting this summer, but the new Christopher Nolan movie is shooting this summer, and he's going to be in that one as well. And they say his part's not that big, so they can kind of work the schedules around, but not so much. So maybe that's part of it, is it's going to take way too long to shoot it to actually get to where we need to go. Do I think the delay is because they're going to incorporate the 2 right away? No, I don't. James Gunn kind of, like I said, he came out and said what he said about it. And I don't even think it's the friction of like, let's push our DCU before yours. I think there's something, like everyone's been saying, there's something personal going on behind the scenes with Matt Reeves. And maybe, I'm not going to speculate what it is, but something with Matt Reeves is going on. And he needs the time because, maybe he didn't finish the script for that reason or whatever. And he needs time to do that, to figure maybe himself out or whatever and get there. And James Gunn and Peter Safran are giving him that respect because the first Batman was a hit. I know people say it didn't make a ton of money, but it made over $700 million. I think it was close to $800 million. It was very successful. And then, of course, the Penguin show right after that. So that could be the case. Maybe we'll get another HBO Max show. HBO or Max show to fill the void in those years, because that's a lot of time that you could, probably have someone like Lauren LaFont come in and give us another character, another season of Penguin, maybe, if that works. But right now, look, we're delayed for another year. Not a whole lot of information as of this recording has come to light. But what do you guys think? What are you making of this? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm a little bit bummed, but at the same time, I do want the best movie possible. Thanks for watching, everybody. Give us a like and a subscribe. And until next time, may be the master of your own universe.